Hello guys, and welcome to the 6th lecture, which is the first lecture of section 2. In this lecture, we'll be speaking about creating structures. So we have created a basic project, and this basic project only has one page, which is the title page. And EPLAN has defined a structure by default for us because we have created this basic project. We still need to define the structures that we need for our project. EPLAN allows deep structuring of pages and enclosures by location or site. So what I mean is that you are able to create structures based on where your enclosure is located in terms of building and in terms of the manufacturing plant itself. How one organizes the structures is purely on personal taste, and it's also based on the requirements of the customer. Therefore, there is no one way of organizing your structures. EPLAN can manage up to 7 structure identifiers in one project. The following EPLAN structures can be used. The first one is functional assignment, which is a double equal. The second one is function designation, which is just one equal sign. The third one is installation site, which is double plus. The fourth one is location designation, which is just a plus sign. The fifth one is document type, which is an end percentage. The sixth one is user-defined structure, which is normally a hashtag sign, but it can be changed. When you change it, it shouldn't cause conflict, which means that you can't change it so that it becomes a double equal sign. You can't change it so that it becomes an equal sign. You can't change it so that it becomes a double plus sign or a single plus sign, because those are already taken by other structure identifiers. You also get the 7th structure identifier, which is the higher level functional number. This is mostly used in fluid drawings. So before I dive too deep into structures and creating them, I just want to give you an idea how you can view structures, because this is how we'll be viewing structures in this course, and this is how I recommend people to view structures. Again, there is no standardized way of viewing structures or creating them. It's based on preference. So I just want to share these pictures with you guys. The first picture is a manufacturing plant. This plant is based in Port Elizabeth. And as you can see from here at the end of the picture, and then there's a road here, and then there's another road that goes that way. So this is the whole plant here. And this is an automotive plant based in Port Elizabeth, South Africa. So this plant has 2 entrances. There's one entrance there for contractors, and there's also another entrance there for employees and other people. So normally contractors and the logistics come through this entrance here. So many trucks and all that come through this entrance here. And this is where the process actually starts within the plant. So the process of manufacturing the car starts at the press shop. This is where they take the sheet metal and they press it and mold it so that it becomes into a car shape. Then it goes on to the body shop, the welding shop. This is where they weld the parts together, and this is where the new station we'll be building is located. And then it moves on to the paint shop. This gray building here, it's the paint shop. And then the paint shop is basically where they paint the car into different and various colors. Then it moves from the paint shop to the general assembly. There's a buffer line here, whereby the cars wait because maybe general assembly is slower than the output from the paint shop. So the cars form in the buffer line, and from the buffer line, they move to the general assembly. In the general assembly, this is where the powertrain and all the other parts of the car get combined together. And once the parts are combined together, the car exits the general assembly, and then it goes to the roadworthy test. This is when the car is complete and they test it for roadworthiness. So as you can see from this section of this picture, this whole section here, the plant, that's your functional assignment. So this is the plant. Your function designation is your press shop, your body shop, your welding shop, your paint shop, and your general assembly. And I just want to move on to the next picture. This is what I was explaining, that the plant has a press shop, a welding shop, a paint shop, a general assembly, and a powertrain, where the powertrain comes into connection with the body that's already painted. And then it becomes a final product, and the final product goes for roadworthy test. So on this picture as well, you can see I've mentioned that you have press shop, you have a welding shop, you have a paint shop, general assembly, and a powertrain. So as you can see on this picture right here, this is a welding shop. So on the welding shop, maybe at one station, this is where they combine maybe the roof of the car. You can see this car here has no roof and this one has a roof. So maybe this is where they attach the roof of the car, and this is maybe where they attach another section and so forth. So as the car moves along, then we'll get to a station whereby they attach the bonnet of the car, which is the station we'll also be creating. And as you can see here, there's a dunnage. You can see there's different materials on the dunnage. So we are not responsible for creating the dunnage and managing the dunnage. So all we'll do in this project, we'll have two robots. One will pick up the bonnet from the dunnage. And once it has picked up the bonnet from the dunnage, it will bring it closer to the car. And then there will be another robot that welds the bonnet onto the frame of the car. So there will only be two robots in that station. So a station, basically, when I refer to a station, I refer from this point here. And these three robots here, this is one station. One station is one action being performed. So that will be the action of fitting the bonnet. So your station is basically your installation site. So this is your installation site right here. As you can see, this is your installation site. Then in your installation site, there's different materials. Maybe there's RFIDs. There's also maybe a siren. There's also maybe certain other materials, maybe like your Tunka clamps, which use pneumatics. We'll be doing that as well in a later course. And also there's certain cable trays and all that. So those have a location designation. So they are within the plant. This is the functional assignment. We're in the manufacturing plant, and also we are in the function designation. The function designation is the building. We are in this building, which is the welding shop, and the installation site. Inside this building, inside this section of the building, there is an installation site, which is just this section here. So we are inside a functional assignment, which is a plant, and that will be NF Click Robots plant. We are inside a building, which is the welding shop building. That's your functional designation. And now we are on the installation site, which is station 01. That's the station we'll be creating. And then in this station, you find that there's also electrical panels. So electrical panels will be where our components like our VFDs, our relays, our HMIs, those will be located in a location designation. So a location designation is your enclosure. So there is your station there. There is an enclosure. Like for example, this can be your power panel. So basically this is where the 400 volts from a different station comes in. And then you can have a control panel. Control panel, this is maybe where your VFDs are located. And a third enclosure, this is basically your PLC enclosure, or maybe an enclosure with an HMI and with your scaling switches, your network switches, and all that. So this is your location designation right here. So as mentioned as well that we have another user-defined structure. So from the scope, you would have noticed that they said we'll be getting power from station 05, enclosure #04. So you can notice already that they use user-defined structure, which is the #04. So normally we use user-defined structures and we use them with the hashtag. And to use that, we say that here's an enclosure, which is in quotations one enclosure. And this one enclosure has various sections. And these sections, we say it's user-defined structures. So maybe this is #01, this is #02, this is #03, and so forth. So from #04, this is where we'll get power, and the power will travel from here by 200 meters onto a panel that's located near our installation site, which is near our station 05. So from station 05, then we'll feed our various devices, which are field devices, and also feed certain necessary enclosures. And on EPLAN, we'll just click on the project and we'll go to File and we'll start creating our structure. So to kick off our structure, we'll just click on Structures. So I'll just create a new structure for all these right here from General Device, Terminal Strip, Plugs, and so forth. I'll create structure identifying for them. So to create that, I'll click on the three dots and then I'll click New for a new scheme. So I want to create a new scheme. I don't want to use the scheme that they have right here. I want to create my own scheme. So I will just click on New and then I'll write welding station 01 scheme. Then I'll click OK. I won't give it a description. It's not necessary to give it a description. You can if you want to, but it's not necessary. So then you can see here, we have functional assignment, we have function designation, and we have all the other structure identifiers that we spoke about earlier. So as you can see, functional assignment, which refers to, according to my description with the pictures, it refers to the plant. So we know that this project is done within a plant. So sometimes you don't have the functional assignment because this project is maybe done in, maybe for example, in the wastewater industry, you have a river that's passing in the middle of nowhere and you have certain instruments that you want to measure the flow of the water and the speed at which the water is flowing at. So maybe you will install a waterproof type of panel. So you'll install it at the middle of nowhere where the river is passing, and therefore it's not within a plant. That's why your functional assignment maybe might not be available in those type of scenarios. But we know in this project, we're creating a new station, we're designing a new station, and this station is located within a plant. So we need to make it identifying. And we know that it's within a functional designation. So basically it's in the welding shop. So in the welding shop, we need to make it identifying. So it is already on identifying. We have an installation site. We know, as we spoke as well in the scope, that we have station 05 and we need to create station 01. So station 01 needs to also be identifying. So the installation site will be identifying. Location designation. So this refers to our mounting panels. So basically our power panel, our remote panels. This also refers to our PLC panel. So I'll just make sure that it's identifying as well. Then higher level function number. So as I communicated earlier on, that higher level function number is mostly used for fluid drawings. We don't have fluid drawings in this project, so we'll leave it as not available. Then we come to the last one, which is user-defined structure. We will make it identifying. Remember, the scope spoke about us getting power from station 05, and we'll be getting power from the #4 enclosure. So we need to make this one available, which is identifying. And I'll just save the scheme and I'll click OK. So now that I've done that, it's actually appreciating the new scheme that we have. So I'll pass this scheme onto the other structures. So to do that, I'll click on the other structures and I'll pass the new scheme, which is welding station 01. And I'll do that for all of them. So just to mention it, the user-defined structure is a hashtag. So because it's a user-defined structure, you can change this hashtag to another symbol that you wish, but you shouldn't change it to a symbol that's similar to these symbols right here, as I've mentioned before. So to change it to a symbol that you like, you can just go to others right here. You can click on others and you can change it right here. You can change the symbol to whichever symbol that you want. But in this project, we'll leave it as hashtag because they spoke about station 05 enclosure #4. So we'll just leave it as hashtag. And then we'll just click OK. And then we'll go back to, we'll save these changes. So save these new structures. So we can save them and just click yes. And once we are done with that, we are now ready to create our structures. So to do that, you can come to Tools and you can click on Structure Identifier, or you can just click here and open the Show menu bar. So the Show menu bar is similar to the older versions of EPLAN, but it just shows at the top. So you can just click on it there and just click on Project Data and click on Structure Identifier Management. And now we can now see other functional structures being available here. So the first one, we'll click on this one, which is the functional assignment. So the functional assignment, as I mentioned, this is the plant. So we'll add a new line. And then I'll just name it 7342 ST. So that's the postal code with the ST for the street where the plant is located at. And I'll just call the plant name, which is NF Click Robots. Then I'll go to the functional. I'll just save that. Go to the functional designation. So the functional designation is the different shops within the plant, the different buildings basically. So I'll just add a few of them. I'll just add 5 of them. Although in this project we'll be mainly focusing on only one, which is the welding shop. But I'll just add 5 of them. I'll add this one, which will be the press shop. So the PRS is just the abbreviation of PR from press and S from shop. And then I'll add another one, which is WS01. This is the one we'll be working on, which is welding shop. And I'll add another one, which is paint shop. I'll add the 4th one, which is powertrain shop, or you can call it powertrain assembly. I'll just call it powertrain shop. And the last one, which is the general assembly. So you can add more if you want to, but I'll just add those ones there. So once we're done with your functional designation, we'll go to installation site. So installation site is basically the different stations. So from this picture here, you can see that there's different stations. So different stations usually have different panels and usually have different responsibilities. So we'll move on to creating the installation sites. So I'll just create 10 installation sites. So I'll just add 10 of them. So I'll add a few of them here. So I'll call it ST01. And that will be station 1. There. So I have 10 different stations. So 10 different stations with 10 different responsibilities, but we'll be focusing on just one station. So we have added the station, then we can move on to location designation. So I'll just save that one there. And your location designation is now your different enclosures. So you have different enclosures like your power enclosure, your control enclosure, your PLC enclosures for different sections of the plant and different sections of the building and different sections for different stations. So I'll just add a few of them there. And the first one I'll add is the transformer. So we do have a transformer, so I'll add the one for the transformer. and then I'll add the rest. So I've added a few location designations. So as you can see, the first location designation is the transformer. So basically we have a location designation, which is the transformer. And then I've added the power enclosure for station 01. I've also added to station 05, the power enclosures. And I've also added the control enclosures from station 01 to station 05. I've added the PLC enclosures for station 01 to station 05. And I've added the remote enclosure. This is the EX enclosure that we read about on the scope. I've also added a few junction boxes. So these junction boxes will be mostly used between our motors and also between the isolator of the motor. So this is also mentioned. You can find it also on the electrical equipments from NF Clicks. So the document they provided, the electrical equipments, that document specifies which motors require an isolator. And I've also added the 2 robots. So they did mention in the scope the 2 robots. So because we'll be giving power from our power enclosure to these robots, so I've added these robots as the location designation. Document type. If you go to document type, EPLAN has created all these document types from the basic project that we created. They've created all these various document types. So we can just click here on extra and check which ones are being used. So as you can see, there's only one that's being used, which is this one here. So all the others, the usage, all the others says no. So I'll just delete them because we're not going to use the document type anyways, and we're not going to use these structures that the basic project has supplied. So I'll just highlight all of them, then click delete. At the moment, I cannot delete this one because it's being used. So if I try to delete it, EPLAN will pop up this error that the identifier cannot be deleted because it's being used within the project. So I'll delete it at the later stage once we have changed the title page and moved it to a different structure. So at the moment, we'll just leave this one like that. And then we'll move to user-defined structure. So I'll just save that, move on to user-defined structure. So in the user-defined structure, we have different sections. Remember when I mentioned that in this picture right here, we have different sections which are providing our new station with power. So I'll just create those sections. So in order to create those sections, I'll just create 10 of them. You can create more, but I'll just create 10 of them. So I'll just call it 01. Remember the one that we need is 04, but I'll just create 01 till 010 just for demonstration usage. So this is the one we'll be focusing more on. So I'll just create the other ones as well. And the structure description, we'll just call it power enclosure panel 01 with reference to that 01 there, and so forth. Then we are done creating our structures. So we are now ready to use our structures. At the moment, as you can see, the usage says no because we haven't used it in our project. Just one thing to note, the structure usage says no, so you should never click on cleanup, because if you click on cleanup, you're basically deleting all the unused structures, so you don't want to do that. I would only suggest you to click on clean up only at the end of the project. You are ready to submit the project to the client and you want to clean up unused structures which maybe are cluttering the project or causing the project to be quite heavy. So I would click on cleanup only then. But if you don't need to clean up the project, I would suggest you not to click on cleanup. So once that is done and all the structures are done, you can just click OK, and we'll just click yes. So we can now, as an example, we can move this page. So I'll just right click on here on this title page, click on properties, and I can now move this to a different page. I'll just move it to here. And we'll just delete that. And I'll just click OK. And now that I've moved the title page to welding shop, I'm able to delete that structure, the document type, because now it's no longer in usage. So you see it says no there. So I can just delete it and just click OK, save it. And also now I can actually alter this. So I'll just make sure that the relevant ones are identifying. I'll just make that one not available because we're not using it. I'll make this one identifying. And I'll just click OK. And now we are also able to change the structure of this title page. So we'll just right click on title page, click on properties, and just click on those three dots there. So the functional assignment, which is the plant, or just click there. And then the functional designation, which is the welding shop, and the installation site. Now the installation site that we will be working on is station 01. So we'll just click there. Location designation, we'll just leave it empty for now. And then also user defined structure, we'll just leave it empty for now. So we'll just click OK. And we'll click OK. And now as you can see, this title page, basically it's in this plant, it's in the welding shop, and it's at station 01. So we'll just leave it like that for now, and we'll continue in the next lecture.